All right, vlog life. Just cleaned the gym. Where's he at? Where's my boy Chase? So, just finished the video on reverse hyper, which is kind of the first strength machine I want to incorporate into back stuff. But what's come to my attention is acute back pain. All right. So when we're have a disc injury or something acutely going on, nerve pain. All right. Now we need to delineate between nerve pain and sore back muscles. So if Chase walks over here, I might have him get naked. We'll see. So, whoop. Solo mode. All right, so up here in the mobility area, all right? But you have nerve pain, right? Radiating down your leg, maybe some sciatic nerve going on. You're like, your butt cheek feels weird, and this can radiate down your leg. It can go all the way down into your toes. So when we have nerve pain, all right, this is bad. Typically, disc herniation pushes into the nerve, or you got some kind of muscle. Piriformis oftentimes gets blamed for sciatic nerve, because if you have a weak butt muscles, glute max, glute medius are weak, sometimes your piriformis, which is a stabilizing muscle, can get a little overexcited, a little too active in trying to stabilize that hip. And in that, your sciatic nerve goes in that area, and piriformis can wrench down on it. So sometimes we get sciatic nerve pain. It can be related to those muscles, not always a disc injury. But when we have acute disc injury in our back, all right, a lot of times this is going to be the lumbar, this area, all right? So this goes, all right, here's my thing, all right, bulges out. Typically it bulges out to the posterior, bulges out to the back, because we'll get into some super flexion in our back and cause a posterior disc herniation, right? So any sort of rotation, shear forces under load is typically what causes that. So people that throw out their back, it's like they reached over into rotation, flexion, and grab something, a purse, a child, reaching over tying the shoes. It's usually something that you're not like mentally prepped for, and you don't move in that motion, that rotation a lot, and right, you're out. So some of the things that can cause that, all right? When we have this disc injury, I want to try to give us some tools to potentially help, right? So you can go to the doctor. Doctor's going to say we can do some injections, we can get MRI, we can do some surgery. If they're surgery happy, they're going to be like, surgery right now, let's go, let's rack up them medical bills. Unfortunately, I've been at this long enough time, seen enough people get back surgery. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm not saying do it. I'm saying do your research, explore your options, because not all the time do I see it being super successful long term. Like, if they go in there and they fillet the part of the bulging disc that's pushing into the nerve, you're going to get immediate relief. But there's still an instability. There's still a reason that bulge happened, and chances are that reason that the bulge happened in the first place is still there. And if that's still happening, if you get I think it's a laminectomy of your disc, then you're might be back in the same place. Hold up. While we're vlogging, let's say bye to Justin. Bye, Justin. Stay safe, buddy. So, we have disc injuries in our back. We need to not load this, right? We need to not load the disc. So, we need that to calm down. But in calming down, we need the muscles around it to calm down. So, disc blows out. The muscles around there, quadratus laborum, your erector spinae, your psoas, your iliacus, these muscles can go into like, oh shit, we have a problem. Tighten up and work to stabilize the instability that exists. So, one thing we can do is to try to get these muscles to relax, right? Now, in the gym, we can stretch a little bit. We can, we don't want to do stretches that send us into flexion and extension, right? But we still want to stretch and work the muscles around that area to chill out so the spine can create some relaxation, and hopefully that disc can find its way back into its home and chill the fuck out. Chill there, all right? So, sorry about the 4-letter words, all right? Be better about that. All right, let's see. So, need a little space here. First off, if you have some pain going on in your low back, I'm going to tell you right now that there's a good probability, if that was caused by squatting or deadlifting, your pelvis rotated. All right? Pelvis works like this. It moves, has some mobility to it. If you have asymmetry, you're going for a super heavy deadlift. All right? Pelvis rotates. Now, if you've ever been to a chiropractor, who I love, they can get that pelvis back into place. And then pain, tightness, stiffness, all goes away. So I will say, if you had a little tweakage going on, I suggest maybe checking out a chiropractor. Know a couple good ones. Dr. Chris McBroom, Dr. Wayne Sissel, love both of them. Great at getting the hips moving back into place. Now, to prevent that, well, we need to work on the asymmetries, strengthen, maybe need a coach's eye on that issue. If you're constantly hurting squatting and deadlifting, that's usually a movement and an inefficiency in some muscle motor pattern, right? So when we're doing that stuff, talk to your coach, talk to me in the gym, whatever. But typically, that is what happens to me these days. Deadlifting, a lot of weight. Sometimes I'll stand up really dominant with my right leg, and I'll get a little rotation there. And I know exactly when it happens, exactly what happens, and I go and get adjusted, back into place, totally fine. So, but my disc injuries were a whole nother issue, all right? Let's see if I can come up with, on the fly, right here, a little sequence that I would do right now if my back was jacked up. All right, so let's see, I gotta turn this down. All right, so got a couple tools here. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Coming back. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. So, mobility tool number 1, kettlebell. All right, kettlebell's good. Foam roller's good, right here. Bam. Yoga block's pretty good. We can use that. And then, we gotta dust these things off. You nasty. I like having a pillow. You can use a couch pillow. And we just got some nice new blue, well, they're not new, some blue balls though. These are logoed mobility balls. So we got some of these. This could be a good tool also. All right, so when our low back is tight, we don't want to go into full flexion and stretch it out, right? We don't want to do that with a disc injury. We don't, I'm telling you. Now, if you want to work your hamstrings and stretch the hamstrings only, I'm going to show you a better way to do it. Keeping a neutral spine. Neutral spine. Now, I think we can see the tools. Right, that first thing. So my back gets pissed off. I know my psoas is a little bit sideways. Now, interesting, you have your rectus abdominis, You have a bunch of fascia tissue, you have transverse abdominis underneath all your guts, your colon, your large colon, small intestine, underneath all that, back into here. I'm gonna get the hair comments again, but into here. Now you need to be careful doing this, all right? You don't wanna just smash your guts, but you can get into the iliacus, right in there. So, where'd my other ball go? You can also use this. All right, so first thing, we are going to hit the iliacus psoas for a little myofascial release. So, phase one, introductory, is going to be taking a ball. I used to have a bigger one, but my kids took it. Take a ball, put on a little yoga block. Now, between your hip bone, your pelvis, and your belly button, you're going to place this ball right there. Take it down on the ground. Oh, and you're gonna find that spot like right around your pelvis. Okay, now first step, we're gonna go 5 to 10 breaths. Deep breath in, and you're going to flex your lower abs, contract, relax. Let that sink in about 5 times. Contract, relax, contract, relax. Let that ball sink in there, okay? Now, once you hit 5 of those, then you're going to sit here, depending on how it feels, and we're gonna get the hip involved. And you're gonna bring your hip right here, just like this, on that ball. Now, chances are, this is gonna feel real nasty. Doesn't feel terrible to me right now, but it doesn't feel great either. But when my back was all pissed off, I had to do this regularly to keep that psoas a little tight, or is a little relaxed. It was tight, so hit both sides. Contract, relax into it a couple times, and then work the hip up and down into it right here. And that, my friends, is straight gold when it comes to a little psoas iliacus myofascial release. So you just need a ball, and I use the block to give you a little elevation on there. Now, I would say that's like the build version. Now, another version of this, you can take a kettlebell. Floor's super flat, huh? Take a kettlebell. You can take the round part of the kettlebell, lay that on the ground, and do the exact same thing. All right, you can find that spot, contract, relax, and go up. Okay, great stuff to get that open up. Now we have the warrior version, if you will. Take the handle of the kettlebell. We place this along our, can't remember this part of the hip, but along our hip, our pelvis right here, in this muscle. And you're going to find the goods right between the belly button and your hip, and you're just gonna work and contract those abs right into it. Now, I'm telling you that this is great. It really is. Really is. But remember, your colon, your organs, your gut, your stomach cavity is all in there too. So don't get too weird with it, right? Really try to work the musculature, and it's gonna be down here, okay? Down here. Feel that? So work the musculature, try to get this to relax. Your psoas, your iliacus, your psoas particularly, connects to your lumbar spine, right? So it's a direct connect from your femur to your lumbar spine, all right? So when this is all wound up, it can pull your lumbar spine into more lordosis, and it can exacerbate a disc injury if that is all wound up, all right? Hi, Chase. You want to come show us your psoas? He doesn't even want to come say hi. See, it's just always me and my tripod. All right? So, we got psoas. Good stuff. So, typically if there is a joint injury, you want to look 2 joints down, 2 joints up. So, next joint down is going to be our knee, getting the quads. I'm not the world's biggest fan, foam rolling has its place for sure. I don't hate it, but you got to do it with intention. So I do like, if our back is lit up, stretching our quadriceps without going into crazy back extension, right? So doing some things to stretch our quadriceps, I think are great. I also think, depending on where we're at in our back pain, get out the way, is foam rolling our quadriceps to try to get those tissues to move a little bit, right? Foam rolling the quadriceps, contract, relax. Flossing is what this is called, where you're contracting and relaxing the muscle over the foam roller. Has a really good, what do you want to say, response to getting the muscles to loosen up. Because when these loosen up, everything up chain can loosen up and chill out, all right? So stretching the quads, awesome. Another great way to stretch the quads is getting on a pillow. You can, now you have to be careful. I don't want any sort of crazy extension. So putting your knee on a pillow, flexing your butt cheek, you're gonna send that hip flexor into this a little bit. And if you feel this, any of this in your back exacerbating the issue, that you need, sorry about that, you need to back off. That simple, right? But if we are stretching and working these tissues, hi Sarah, you want to be on the video? Yeah, come on, say hi. You want to show us your psoas? Good. So, say hi, Sarah. There you go. Get your head in. There it is. There it is. So, bye, Sarah. So, stretching, hip flexor, squeeze the butt, lean into this a little bit. Great little stretch to kind of get this to chill out. So, in sequence of events, I would do a little myofascial release. Then I would do maybe a little foam rolling, and then maybe a little stretching, right? That worked well for me in the past. I don't do it as often as maybe I should, but I work my mobility to full ranges now, and that keeps me pretty mobile, keeps things pretty loose when it comes to the stuff up in these guts, right? So that is the front part. Now, in the back part, we have, I'll show you my ass, two big muscles right in here, right there, called quadratus laborum, QLs, your QLs. Those of you in hunting, known as part of the back straps. Right, these are muscles that stabilize your vertebrae. Big, thick muscles. Now, these aren't meant to contract. What would be the right words here? I don't know. These muscles are meant to hold a massive isometric load, right? They're not meant to have a big contractile load. So like our quads, our hamstrings, our biceps, our triceps are meant to move through a contraction. Heavy weight, our erectors are meant to stabilize and hold a massive isometric weight. So deadlifting 1,000 pounds, you need those muscles to stabilize so much to resist all shear on the spine, right? So vertebrae, now I'm parallel to the ground, right? So I'm showing you this way. These erectors need to hold and be so strong at holding that isometric hold that it stops all shear force on the spine. So it's your erectors along with your rectus abdominis that stop the shear force when we are hinged and under load, okay? So one way to get into there, this is a classic Kelly Starrett deal, is you take a ball, you put it into that piece of meat, and you're going to rock your hips into the ball. And you're going to let that dig into that QL. And you can work it around a little bit, side to side. And you can hit both sides. Now, I'm working that muscles, but I'm not putting my back into a compromised position. Okay, so great way to get, ooh, that was interesting, the QL to calm down. Now, you might be tempted, laying down here, to go for some big, massive and try to like, you want this pop, okay? I'm gonna tell you, do not try to do that on your own if your back is all messed up. Go see a chiropractor, okay? That's gonna be your best bet to get that pop you might be craving, because what you're doing is you're forcing rotation through your lumbar spine. You're not necessarily getting your hip to move, all right? When they do that crossbody pop, they're moving your pelvis. They're not moving your lumbar spine. When we start to try to rotate on our own, most of that rotation is going to be forced through our lumbar spine, not through our pelvis. We want our pelvis to move, okay? And that's going to relieve some of the issues with our low back when our pelvis is out of place, like I was saying earlier. So that's one of my favorites right there to get in the QL. Kind of the only one that I've ever really done. The other really cool thing to do is electrical stimulation. If you get your hands on an electrical stim device, put it right there on the QLs. I used to actually coach with an electrical stim device in my pocket on those muscles because they're so fired up, so pissed off that it was the only thing that I could do to get them to calm down. Now I could have stopped training like an asshole, started doing more mobility work and, being a smarter version of myself 7 years ago, but I didn't. So here we are now. And if I did, I probably wouldn't have all this fun knowledge to share with you guys. Now, after those few exercises, now, there's so many exercises that we can do. One little thing, this is recent deal, that you can do to actually get your hips moving, it's been pretty cool, is you put your knee up on a yoga block. You keep your hips square. Let me see a little better angle here. Okay, and you're going to sink a hip, and you're going to rotate your hips a little bit, right? It's very subtle. This, I have found, when the back is pissed off, it actually does help, and it does not cause more injury from what I'm seeing. So you can hit this on each side, 4 sets of 10, or you can do like 30 reps each side. And that's going to get a little hip pelvis moving. I'm sure you guys are getting bored. There's so many movements. There's so much stuff in the knowledge bank, but let's keep it simple. So after doing all this, now the best part, hanging. So when we hang, let's see if I can set this up. Over here. So once you get all those muscles to chill out and everything's not all pissed off, the best way to hang to get the back to calm down is to grab a pull-up bar and with your feet on the ground, go up on your toes, leave your toes on the ground, and you're going to hang here. So all the muscles are relaxed. Now we're going to try to create some space for those vertebrae and those discs to kind of chill out. Now, with your feet on the ground, the muscles will relax and allow some space, some slack there, right? So we're just hanging from a pull-up bar with our feet on the ground. Now don't twist, no twisting, but just a little hip sag, a little side to side, and you can feel it in your pelvis, in your low back, and you can get a little bit of movement there to create some space. I find that feels really good after you get the muscles to chill out first. All right, so it's one way to hang. Another way to hang, which saved me back in the day, that's why we have this thing, because when you have a disc injury, you want to create space in the vertebrae, right? Vertebrae stacked on top of each other, disc in between. You want to create a little space, and then that vertebrae can go back into place, right? So the inversion table, right? Now, kind of self-explanatory. Not going to show it right now. We do keep it at the gym. I keep it out here in case somebody gets a little cray-cray and can't get back over. If you do these at home, make sure somebody's there to help you, because if you don't set it up right and you get stuck upside down, I think there's actually like a risk of death because you can't get back over, all right? So please, for the love of baby Jesus, if you do this at home or have never done it before, get with somebody that has done it, all right? I happen to be a little bit top heavy, so when I have to set this up, I have to go all the way to 6'1", or I can't come back over, all right? There's also a safety strap on these. Some people take it off. I lied to you guys, but you get in the inversion table. Again, if you've never done this before, do it with somebody that's done it. You lock in your feet and you go backwards and you relax. Whoop. Microphone's rubbing my face. And you just hang out here and try to relax and just let gravity do its thing. Okay, when this is set up right, you can bring your hand forward. Whoop. Bring your hands back. Hand forward, hand back, all right? When it's set up right. If you don't have it set up right and you go back, there's no coming back over without somebody helping you. So again, first time ever using this, do it with somebody there who can help you, and be smart. But I will tell you, this thing was a great tool for me to get my discs to relax. I don't do it all the time still, but I do it often at home. I have the gravity boots, a little more advanced. You have to like do a strict toes bar and you hook your legs on a pull-up bar. So I usually, maybe once a week, try to spend a little bit of time upside down to just counteract gravity. So that's some acute phase back pain stuff that hope you guys find a little bit valuable. Again, there's endless movements, there's endless things. The big thing you want to remember is you don't want to go into super flexion, super extension when you have an acute back injury, right? You want to get muscles and everything to relax around that injury, allow the inflammation, the disc to get back into place. If you have muscles that are out of whack, that are, strengthened. I mean, you have asymmetries, one side of your body stronger than the other. We need to correct those asymmetries. A lot of times chiropractor can help get the joint back into place, but then we need to work on the musculature to hold the joint in place properly, all right? So ask us questions, let me know what you want to learn, and I hope that this helped a little bit when it comes to acute back pain and what you guys can do to relieve that. All right, see you. Stay healthy.